Welcome back, everybody, and welcome to Connect 2021. And we're now going to be hearing from VelocityEHS, whose aim is to make it easier for you to do your job well. They help your people work safely, act independently, and have ownership of your EHS programs. Their software provides real-time data and gives your team mobile access to critical information when they need it. They claim to be your only source for MSDSonline chemical management and Humantech industrial and office ergonomics solutions, and dear, I need to put my teeth back in. I think it's nearly lunchtime, isn't it? And have to have the industry's most trusted solutions for managing risk, industrial hygiene, environmental concern hazards and incidents, training, and more. See why more than 19,000 customers worldwide trust them to make EHS everyone's responsibilities. Add your questions throughout on the Q&A tab on the top right-hand side. And I'm going to be joined afterwards by Steve Rowe and Christy Lutz for their live Q&A. Enjoy.
Hello, and welcome to Humantech Industrial Ergonomics by VelocityEHS. For the next few minutes, I'm going to walk you through what a typical partnership would look like with us to launch and sustain your own internal ergonomics process. Let's get started. The first thing that you'll notice is our login page and that the software is available in 20 languages. This allows you to use the same software in your locations around the world so that everybody is speaking a common language and using common tools and methodology around the discipline of ergonomics. Once you log in, you'll notice that there are 3 sections: Learn, Do, and Manage. Let's start with the Learn portion. If you have an ergonomics team or perhaps a group of engineers that you would like trained in the science of ergonomics at your location, the very first thing that we will do is to give all of your team members access to a series of e-learning courses. These courses are on demand and chunked into small modules that can be started and stopped at the participant's convenience. It will remember where they left off and bookmark, bring them right back to the same spot. This e-learning course in its totality covers everything that your team member is going to need to know about ergonomics. It starts with the basics and the foundation of the definition of ergonomics and the history of musculoskeletal disorders. And it proceeds and develops the knowledge into data collection, quantitative analysis tools, and finally developing solutions to reduce the risk rating of your job or location. Once the modules are complete, you will get a tracking matrix that will tell you where the progress of each team member is and which course they've completed. This is very easy for you to take a quick check and look at how your team is doing. Next, moving on to the Do portion, after completing the series of e-learning courses, your team will have a workshop, either on-site or virtual, with a certified professional ergonomist. The purpose of this workshop is to get your team members some shoulder-to-shoulder experience with a trained expert and starting to do assessments and getting data uploaded into the system. Our process is to train your employees on our job improvement process. You'll notice down the left-hand side that there are 5 steps: baseline analysis, direct causes, improvements, projected analysis, and finally follow-up analysis. Let's start here with the baseline analysis. Your team member is going to click Start Advanced Assessment. That's going to ask for a video to be uploaded of the job that's being assessed. You'll notice here that there are several options that you can select, such as blocking the operator's face or blurring the video. Once the video is uploaded, you will see that the video starts to be processed by artificial intelligence. While this video is processing, and we treat this almost like putting a pizza in the oven, while the pizza is baking, your team members will move on and manually measure the force exertions and the individual hand and wrist factors. Those menus look like this. There's actually bands of force exertions that will be able to be selected from a drop-down menu, and the hands and wrists is focused on observing postures, counting duration and frequency. These two steps are done manually and usually take about 5 to 10 minutes to complete. By the time that those manual steps are finished, the video has been returned to you and the artificial intelligence has mapped a skeleton over the person, indicating the relative postures of each of those joints. You'll notice that each joint is scored green, yellow, and red, and these colors will change as the person moves through the entire cycle time of the job. What this allows you to do is to see the relative impact of the design of the work environment on the body. It's important to note that there are no markers or sensors that you have to put on the subject at all. The artificial intelligence just picks up on the elbow, shoulder, hip, knee joint, etc., and processes information from a standard smartphone or tablet. No special software, no special equipment. What the baseline analysis then does is to take that processed video and combine it with the force measurements and the hand and wrist measurements that you made into an overall advanced tool priority score. You can see here from the matrix below, it's very easy to quickly pinpoint which body parts are at risk relative to one another. Once you've completed 10 or 20 assessments, you can start to see how the risk map of your facility will look. Your ergonomics team has the ability then to prioritize jobs by absolute quantitative risk of developing a musculoskeletal disorder. What this does is this allows you to remove the tendency to use employee discomfort or employee complaints as the prioritization for the jobs that need improvement. This uses exactly what kind of risk level each of these tasks is exposing an operator to. You can use this for planning in terms of goal setting for we're going to improve, for example, one red job a month, and you can easily know that you're on track. In addition to that whole body risk assessment tool, the software also includes other gold standard tools like the NIOSH lifting equation for lifting and lowering analysis and the Liberty Mutual tables for push, pull, and carry tasks. Also, there are qualitative checklists that can be used for monthly walkthroughs, hourly employee team training, safety minutes, etc., that are very easy to teach. And although they don't measure anything, can be very valuable in terms of identifying risk. Once you've determined that a job needs improvement, you're going to access the design guidelines for ergonomics. You'll see that this is an encyclopedia of both anthropometric design guidelines and strength capabilities of people. For example, the standing workstation guidelines. You'll see that these are available for different global populations and are very specific with numbers for exactly how a standing workstation should be laid out. Here's another example of material handling equipment that for each of these sections will provide guidelines from the science in order to optimize human performance. And you can use these to work with your various vendors to make sure that you're bringing in the right equipment. And a final example is tools, both guidelines for powered tools and non-powered tools. You'll see that it includes things like handle diameter and handle shape, trigger length, trigger force, torque of the tool, all very helpful information when your team is planning what improvements they're going to make. And finally, to the manage portion. So although your ergonomics team is going to spend most of their time in the learn and do sections, perhaps you, as the process owner, is going to spend time in the manage portion. You've got a primary dashboard here that you can check to see the overall profile of your site or of a division or a region or your entire enterprise. You have the ability to tease out specific locations and to slice and dice this data however you like. You can use that dashboard as a portal into different reports. So for example, if I clicked on the improvement report, it would take me down a layer and show me more detail on my improvements, like how many I've completed in the last month, 3 months, year, for example. I can look at the targeted date and see how many improvements are overdue. How are we doing in terms of the impact of our improvements? So there's lots of different ways that you can configure your dashboard to give you exactly the information that you need. So in conclusion, Humantech Industrial Ergonomics by VelocityEHS is really revolutionizing how companies use the science of workplace ergonomics. It is really important that you leverage technology and have the assessments be accurate, fast, and repeatable amongst different assessors in different locations around the world. Thank you for listening. Let us know at VelocityEHS if you have any additional questions about this software. Thank you.
Welcome back, everybody. We hope you enjoyed that presentation. And don't forget, any questions you can post in a tab on the right-hand corner. So I'm really pleased to be joined live by Steve and Christy. Guys, how are you doing? One's outside of Manchester and one's in Michigan. So we're truly worldwide in this Zoom call.
Good, thank you. Nice to meet you.
Yeah, hi, Joe. Thanks. Nice to be here.
Fantastic. So I'll kick off with these questions. They're coming in thick and fast now. So if I were being filmed, I might act differently and revert back to how I was trained rather than how I've formed a habit. How do you count for that?
Unfortunately, when you're doing motion capture, you can't really, you're literally capturing the motion that the operator performs. So if they do revert back to ways that they used to do things, and maybe it differs a little bit from what they actually do, then it's not going to be caught. So it really comes down to speaking with the operator first and coaching them and saying what the point of this is. It's not to discipline. It's not to, get anyone in trouble. It really is to understand how people are doing this process and what we can do to make it a little bit better, a little bit easier. So it is important that they just do what you normally do. And so we usually do a little bit of coaching, and we have training on how to talk to operators and how to get the best out of them when you're doing these types of assessments.
Fantastic. So is there a role for gamification in EHS reporting? 88.4% said yes.
In regard to
Hey there 1 second, that's completely my fault. Rachel's put that in the chat box, but that's actually the title of the webinar that's coming up. No wonder you both look completely I'm not surprised. That would be a very confusing thing for you to talk about, a webinar that we already have planned. So there you go. You did very well.
I like how Steve was going to have a good answer for that, though.
Yeah, well.
Hear what the answer was. Good job.
No, we don't need to hear that. But anyway.
I like the fact you're going to style it out. Right. Okay. We'll get back to the actual questions. So can you block the identity of employees for privacy?
Yeah, that's a feature that we released relatively recently. And it was at the request of a lot of our clients in lab settings, in government, in military, with a lot of intellectual property. They wanted not only to protect the privacy of the employee, but also to be able to, and you can blur their faces and in their identity. But they also wanted to be able to block the background. So that if there was any, equipment or anything that was intellectual property or they didn't want shared, then we were able to block that as well. So when you upload your video, you're able to select what you want blocked, whether it be the employee's, their face or the entire screen. And then that's what gets stored in the cloud, and you're not able to see any raw media files.
Fantastic. So how does motion capture improve accuracy then?
Well, you can imagine that, when you have people going out with the old pen and paper based methods for evaluating a process, you get a lot of differing answers from person to person. It's really just how did they absorb the training that they were given? How quickly are they trying to do this? How seriously are they taking it? Are they checking the box? Are they trying to manipulate the scores to get a green score? With motion capture, it is what it is. You take the video of the process and it is going to capture for you the postures, the frequency, and the duration, leaving you to just enter in manually the forces. And it's much more difficult to manipulate the forces. You would have a force gauge, you'd be quantifying the amount of lift that the person has to do, or the push pull that the person has to do, and you'd be adding that. So it has a significant impact on the accuracy. We actually did a validator study, an accuracy study, comparing motion capture activity speed and accuracy to ergonomists certified at different levels. And obviously the computer beat us by a lot. And I was part of that study, so I was a little bit sad, but it was, it's much more effective.
Did you have a bet on that one?
Yeah, I thought it was the best. No.
Well, talking about ergonomists, do you have those kind of staff on standby if anybody would need assistance?
Yeah, exactly. We have the largest group of certified ergonomists. There's a board that certifies ergonomists worldwide, and it's really the only one that does. There's not that many in the world. I think that they're at maybe 1,100 right now, and that's not even necessarily active ergonomists. So we have the largest staff of AEPs, associate, and then CPEs, so certified professional ergonomists. And they really are there to support all implementation of our ergonomic software, so that you don't feel like you just bought software and now you're on your own. It's really important that you feel that you can get an answer, not just about, how the software works, but most importantly, what are our metrics going to be? What do other companies in a similar industry do in year 2 of their process, and really kind of helping to guide, the success of your ergonomics process down the right path.
Fantastic. Well, it sounds like that's the job to get into if there are only that little in the world, right?
Yeah. And we've got a lot of them. So if you're looking for a job and you're an ergonomist, then definitely apply.
Definitely. So how do you support the software?
So we have a few different groups who support. So there's obviously technical support, which is, just around the clock support for technical issues. Maybe if somebody is having difficulty with single sign-on or just getting into their account or something like that, that's just our help desk. We also have customer success managers. So that's something that's really important to look at when you're buying software. It's a group of people that would be supporting accounts that they're kind of they're just, they're managers of their account. They're guiding them and helping them make decisions, comparing how they're doing to other organizations, taking a look at usage and things like that, and just making sure that they're doing the steps to success. And then with the ergonomic software that we have implementation consultants who are those ergonomists. They're there to help with more of the technical side of things, that hey, what do you do here when I'm getting this score? How can we make it better? Have you seen something like this in a similar industry? And so they can just kind of quickly answer any questions you have related to ergonomics.
So basically, no matter what is going on, you've always got help in all of the different departments, which is, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. You always want to feel supported, not just, I bought this software, probably spent some money on it, and now I feel like I'm alone with it. Can somebody help me? So we have lots of people that can assist.
That's great, because I know there's been many things that I've bought over the years, not from you guys, where you have felt like that. And actually it is amazing when you see the difference when you have got that support network. So well done, you guys. So how do you support global rollouts of the software?
I don't want to monopolize here, Steve. You can jump in at any point, but we have the software available in, I think we're at 15 or 18 languages at this
20,
point.
I think it is, Christy.
Already at 20. So we just keep adding and adding languages. I can't keep up. But we have 3 elements to the software: learn, do, and manage. So not only is the application available in those languages, but all of the training that's in there. So I'm an ergonomist. I used to deliver these trainings, instructor-led on site. And I would go all over the world, spent some time in, where Steve is, near Liverpool and Manchester. And I would deliver trainings, and it would be pretty costly to our clients. So now we've moved all of that training into really short snippets that people can go back to at any point, but you also don't need us to deliver that training. So it's in your preferred language, and it'll just help you understand all the basics of ergonomics and getting into the more detailed analysis, evaluations and things like that. And then it'll actually teach you how to use the software. So it's all pretty easy to roll out. And then obviously we're here supporting as well. We have consultants, pretty well around the world as well.
Fantastic. Steve, have you got anything to add on any of those?
I was just going to say there, it's worth noting as well with the current situation, we've switched up and adapted to running workshops online, making the day shorter, very interactive, allowing clients to then go and actually do some practical work and then come back to office hours with the online support. So we've really adapted quickly to be able to keep our clients happy in the current situation.
Fantastic. Well, guys, if you've got nothing more to add to that, that's it for our questions today. But we're really pleased that you've joined us, and thank you so much for the presentation. It's been great to meet you.
Thanks, Joe. Nice to meet you too.
Thanks, Joe. Nice to meet you too. Take care.
Brilliant. So guys, if you want to find out more about the products discussed, you can book a meeting with VelocityEHS representative from their exhibitor booth. Otherwise, it's lunchtime and we will be back at 3 o'clock with another product demo from Vatix, and we hope to see you there. There's also a webinar, which I have already mentioned by mistake, over the lunch break. And that is, the title is Is There a Role for Gamification in EHS Reporting? 88.4% said yes. So if that's something that interests you, then you can go and watch that webinar. And if not, we'll see you back here at 3. Thank you.